This is Rich from Old Guard Designs. Today we're going to be going over our modular stable. We'll be showing how to assemble the pieces, how to assemble each individual module, and how to put the modules together to make a building. Here is an example of the basic stable or barn. I've got some figures here for scale. Figures aren't included. This is one of the simpler buildings you can build. If you take the roof off, you'll see there's a hayloft level. Characters can be in the hayloft or be down in the stable itself. Here's some figures to show you the scale. The files natively print out at about 25mm scale, which means that this section is about 30 feet long. The whole building is about 50 feet long and about 30 feet wide. Module 1 is one of two different end modules that you can use. Module 1 has a large round door on the front. This is similar to the round door we used on our Gothic smithy. It has a Gothic door on the side and a Gothic window on the other side. Inside everything is textured. There's a brick walkway that runs down the center of the whole building. Like our other projects, the doors print in place and you just work them loose. They are of course removable. The modules snap together using open lock clips. The walls have an upper and lower clip. Normally we'll use the upper slot. When we get to the T module, there'll be times when we have to use the lower slot. The doors use a straightened paper clip as a hinge. Of course, after you're done painting, you would snip off the paper clip at the top of the building. All the doors are fully operable. I do suggest filing or sanding down the bottom of the door a bit, otherwise it may scrape off your paint on your floor, as the fit is pretty tight. This is the ground level. The second piece of module 1 is the upper level. This has a hayloft and it has the roof in one piece. One of the key features on the front of this is a pair of doors that will open and give access to the hayloft. In this case, because of the roof, the hinge pins go in through the bottom. The doors also print in place and are fully functional. Also on the front, you'll notice these two sockets. This is for a support that would hold a block and tackle. This just slides into those slots. Once everything was painted, you'd want to glue it in place, and this would allow you to haul heavier items up to the loft level. The two pieces fit together, these pins and these sockets, and there you have one of the end modules. Module 2 is our second end module. This module is very similar to module 1. The main difference being, instead of a round door here, There's a window. We still have the Gothic door on the side. Inside, the brick walkway makes a turn to go to the Gothic door. And on the back, you will see that there are slots in the bottom of the stone wall there. Those slots are for this piece. This is a saddle horse. This is where riders would store their saddle and hang the tack on their back wall. Because this piece is kind of small, it prints out with a handle to help you hold it when painting. This just fits in the slots like that. They need to be glued in place. And then once you're done with them, just trim off the handle, touch up the end, and you're all set with those. You'll need 9 of these to fill the 9 slots in the back. Second level also has the hayloft and the roof in one piece. The main difference with this one is it lacks the hayloft doors or the support for a block and tackle. And like the other piece, it just sits pins and sockets. One of the advantages of it being modular is that you can swap the upper and lower parts around if you like. So if you want it level with the door on the first floor and nothing above, you can do that. This also lets us make our smallest building if you just need a small outbuilding for some reason. Using these open lock clips. These two modules will snap together. And on the upper levels, then you have a small outbuilding. Module 3 is our stable module. This prints out in several pieces. We opted to do it this way to allow you to paint it more easily and get better results than if it printed out in one piece. The basic module piece is this piece. Has the brick walkway texture down the center, hay texture where the stalls are going to be, and there's some pins on the floor. The walls between the stables have a column and a divider wall. These work by putting this end into the slot in the wall and snapping down onto the pin on the floor. And then on top you have a beam. The beam has sockets that line up with the pins on top of the columns. The beam can go either way. It's symmetrical, so there's no worrying about lining it up one way or another. Just line up the sockets with the pins, and there's your finished stable module. Once you have everything painted, you'll want to glue the walls in place and glue this beam on top. For the interior modules, the hayloft level is separate. There's just 2 sockets that sit on pins in the wall, and the front edge sits on the beam. This is one completed stable module. Here I have a second stable module. The two modules connect through a pair of open lock clips that go on the floor. Two modules clip together, and here you have a basic stable unit with a stable module on each side. This has 6 stalls for 6 horses. If you add an end piece on each end, you now have a basic stable. This is the straight roof module that sits on top, again on pins and sockets. And there's your basic barn that we saw at the beginning. Module 4 is our barn module. It is very similar to the stable module, but it doesn't have the interior walls to form stalls. Still has the brick path down the center and a hay texture over the barn floor. This prints out as one piece with the columns and the beam across. This was printed without supports. If you don't like how the texture underneath is, you can always add supports for printing. It uses the same loft module as the stable module does. The two modules clip together with open lock clips in the floor. And then loft modules, the same loft module that was over the stable, sits on top. And the same roof unit that was over the stable sits on top of that. Here are the slots to connect to either additional modules or to the end pieces. And then you have the finished barn. The only difference being the interior doesn't have the individual partitions. When the pieces are held together with the open lock clips, the basic unit is very sturdy. Now you can see that the brick walkway travels the whole length. At our hayloft levels. At our end module upper levels. And you can see that there's plenty of ability to have 2 levels of action going on during a scenario. The advantage of having made the building modular is that if you want a large building, you just add more modules And now you have a larger building. In this case, I mixed 2 barn modules with 2 stable modules to get a building that has both stable and barn. The barn and stable modules can also go opposite each other if you want a mixed-use building. The next module, which is the T module, the T module will be used to let us make a T-shaped building. It's very similar to a stable module. It has 2 of the stable walls built in when it prints out, with a brick walkway going through, heading down to the T add-on. For the back wall, we have a separate piece called the stud wall. It has 3 wooden studs with boards across it. The boards face inside the stable area towards the animal, and the stud wall has longer pieces on top than on the bottom. The longer edges just slide up through the holes here, and then just let it swing straight, and it drops into sockets on the bottom built into the floor. Also add 2 stable walls. And add another top beam, the same top beam as used over the stable module. And this is our assembled T unit. The way this works is that opposite the T unit can go either a barn or a stable module. Because of the walls heading out to the T part, you need a special loft module for the T module. It has these little walls on top. Those sit on top just like the loft modules for the other pieces. Add a pair of modules to either end, or you can just add an end unit if you like. And then now we have a special roof module. The straight end fits on either the barn or stable module. And then straight roof pieces go over the rest of it. And there you have a T-shaped building. If instead of putting a stable or a barn unit across from the T unit, you put another T unit, now you can make a cross-shaped building. And you use the cross-shaped roof module, line up the pins and sockets, And now you have a cross-shaped building. You can make the arms as long as you like. If you want to, you can mix and match. Add another T unit on the end. Add another cross unit. You can make a building as large as you like. Thank you for your support and happy gaming.